Today I'm going to be making a horizontal photo booth face. The first thing you need to do is locate the folder that your teacher had you create on your desktop and open it up. From here you'll see the two folders that you have created of your faces. You can work with the funny face or the normal face, that is your choice. For this demo, I'll be working with the funny face. I need to put these documents into Photoshop. To do that, I need to left click on the first one, hold down Shift on the keyboard, and click on the last one. This will select all the photos so that I can put them inside of Photoshop. I'm going to hold down my left click and I'm going to drag those photos into Photoshop and let go. As you can see, Photoshop opens up the documents. I no longer need my folder, so I'm going to get rid of it. Go back into Photoshop. And now you can see I've got my images here. First thing I need to do is locate my face. I'm going to work with a little bit more space on the outside of this because if you notice, when I click on the outside of the window, it goes back to Finder. When I click back on the work image document, it goes back up to Photoshop. I want to make sure that I'm working inside of Photoshop when I'm doing this. So I'm going to extend the workspace by simply going to the bottom right corner and extending the image document window so that I have more gray space to work with. The first thing I need to do is find somebody else's body part that is visually interesting and different than mine. So I'm going to look for some eyes that are different than mine. Nick's eyes right here is a great example of an attribute that is different than mine. He has glasses where I don't. I'm going to start by selecting the rectangular marquee located here. Now with this gray space on the outside, I can click and drag across the screen and it will start the marquee on the very edge of the document. I can let go. I now have Nick's eyes selected. I need to make a copy of this. To do this, I'm going to hold down the Command key on the keyboard, push C for copy. I'm going to go back to my original document, and I'm going to go Command V to paste. You will notice inside of the Layers panel that the layer that I just put in there is a brand new layer. I need to move Nick's eyes and adjust them so that they will fit my head. So I'm going to go back up and select the Move tool. As you can see, I've got my transform controls showing. If you cannot see your transform controls, you'll need to go up to the option toolbar and make sure that you have show transform controls clicked. If you do not see the boxes in the corner of your image, it's because you do not have the show transform controls clicked. I'm going to use a corner box. I'm going to hold down Shift. This will maintain the aspect ratio. That simply means it will keep the correct height to width so that I don't skew or warp Nick's face. So by holding down Shift and clicking in the corner box, I can resize Nick's face. I let go of Shift to move it, just a little bit smaller maybe. And just like that, Nick's face matches up with mine. Before I move on, I need to let the computer know that I am done with this transformation. To do that, I need to hit return. By hitting return, it will tell the computer that I'm happy with what I've done and I can move on to the next thing. If you do not hit return, you will not be able to do anything else until you tell the computer you want to apply that transformation. And again, you can do that by just simply hitting return. Now I need to find a different body part from somebody else. Let's look for a mouth that is different than mine. I like this one because she has braces. So again, I'm going to go up to my rectangular marquee and click on it. By clicking on the outside edge in the gray space, my marquee will start on the very edge of the screen. I can click it and I can drag across. Now you notice I've got a little bit of excess marquee up here at top. Now if I don't want that excess marquee, there's a couple ways to get rid of that. If I hold down the Option key, you'll notice that my cursor actually turns into a minus. I'm still on the marquee tool, so I will be subtracting away from the original marquee when I select a new marquee. So I'm going to select a new marquee to subtract away. And let's make a mistake and subtract too much away. As you can see, I obviously want part of her lips. So if I need to add to the existing marquee, I can hold down Shift on the keyboard, and you notice that the marquee now turns into a plus. And the reason you want to hold down Shift is because I want to add to the existing marquee. If I did not hold down Shift, it would just make a brand new marquee on the screen. So I'm going to add to the existing marquee to get her lip back. So again, Option is subtract, Shift is to add to. I'm happy with my selection now. Again, I'm going to copy it. To do this, you hit Command and then C on the keyboard. Go back to my original image. To paste it, I'm going to hit Command V. And you can see that there's a third layer now called Layer 2. I need to move that layer, so I'm going to go up to my toolbar and I'm going to select the Move tool. I'm going to move her mouth into my area. Again, I'm going to go to a corner box and I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm holding down Shift to maintain the aspect ratio. Because if I don't hold down Shift, I can end up making it way too tall that way. I'm just hitting Command Z to undo that. Or I could stretch it out this way, which looks really awkward. And again, I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that. So by holding down Shift, I'm going to maintain the aspect ratio. I let go of Shift to move it. A little bit smaller, I'm holding Shift down again. And just like that, I'm happy with what I've done. I need to let the computer know that I'm ready to move on. I need to hit Return. By hitting Return, it applies a transformation. You can tell that the transformation has been applied because the Option toolbar will go back to the Move tool options instead of the Transform control options. We need one last body part. Let's look for somebody with a different hair than I have. Her hair is unique. Again, I'm going to go to the Marquee tool. I'm going to go on the outside of the image so that when I select it, it will be all the way to the edge. I didn't get enough of her hair. That's okay. I can add to the existing marquee by holding down Shift. I'm going to add in the rest of her hair. Now what I need to do is I need to make a copy of this. I'm going to hold down Command and push the letter C to copy it. I'm going to go back to my original image and I'm going to paste this into this image. That's Command on the keyboard with the letter V to paste. I'm going to move it up to where it belongs. The only problem is her head was tilted where mine was not. So this little crosshair right in the middle is a point of rotation. So if I go above the image, you'll notice that my arrows will turn into a double arrow. That's the rotation arrow. Now if I hold down my left click, I can rotate her head so that it matches up with mine. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to go to the corners. I'm going to hold down Shift to maintain the aspect ratio. I can match her ears up and her head, just like so. And when I'm happy with the transformation, I can hit Return to let the computer know that I'm done. And if you notice, the Option toolbar up here will go back to the normal Move tool options. That's how you know when you've hit Return. The only problem is, her head is covering up Nick's glasses. Well, I can fix that in the Layers panel. So if we go down to the Layers panel, you'll notice I've got my original image in the background, then I've got each person's body part on a different layer. Photoshop is smart enough that when you paste anything into it, it automatically puts it on a new layer. So what I need to do is I need to take layer 3, which is her hair, and I need to put it underneath of his eyes. So I don't remember which layer it is, if it's 1 or 2. So I'm just going to take layer 3, and I'm going to move it all the way down underneath layer 1. And you notice it tucks it underneath the existing 2 layers. Now that I'm finished with my images, I need to make sure that I save this as the correct file name. I'm going to go up to the File menu, click on File. I'm going to go to Save As. You can click on the drop-down arrow. On the left-hand side, click on Desktop, find your folder with your first and last name, and then open up the correct folder in which you are altering the face. You'll notice that the file ending is different than the files you currently have in your folder. All of these are image documents, which means that they are flat. Where this document is a PSD, a Photoshop document. That is a multiple layer document. You can notice in your layers panel, you're working with multiple layers right now. So we are going to select everything before the file ending. Don't ever change the file ending on your file. You can call it last name, first name, underscore, the project name. This is the photo booth face, so I'm going to just call it PBF, and it's the horizontal face. So I'm just going to put an H back there. So again, that's your last name, first name, underscore, project name, and if you want, you can put acronyms for the project, but you need to make sure every project in the class is labeled like this. I'm going to hit Save. You can tell that your file has been saved because if you look at the tab in the document window, you'll notice that it changes the name of the file. Now you are done with part 1. When you are ready, you can move on to part 2.